Welcome to Healthy Cooking and Shopping for Life. Today we're going to demonstrate Isla's Yammy Chicken. My name is Elena Gordon and this is Isla Moody Lee. So Isla, what is this Yammy Chicken?
Well, basically it's a recipe that a friend of mine thought up, and I made some personal alterations to it. I wanted chicken in it.
Okay.
And it gives you a little bit of Christmas time flavors any time of the year.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
you're going to show us how to prepare the chicken.
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, you want to buy a fresh chicken. You need to make sure that it's a little bit pink, there's no gray. When you put your hand inside the bird, in this part it's not slimy or anything like that. I mean, you're gonna have a little bit of slime because it's raw meat, but it's not really slimy. There's no foul odor, and that's pretty much how you determine whether or not it's a fresh bird or not.
Okay. So you know that handling turkey, or either any type of poultry, you have to handle it carefully.
Yes.
Because of the risk of salmonella.
Salmonella,
okay?
That's right.
So the first thing before we handle the chicken, and I noticed that you wash your hands.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Always have to wash your hands before you touch it and after you touch it, and anything else that touches it in between time. Okay, now in order to make this yummy chicken, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to butterfly the bird. Now if you don't know how to butterfly a bird, the first thing you do is you're going to go along the breastbone, starting from the back.
And you need a very sharp knife.
Very sharp knife. I use a serrated knife. I know butchers usually use a butcher knife, but I use a serrated knife.
Okay. Because you're cutting right through that bone.
Yes, and then you're going to get that break through, and then you kind of crack the back and you turn it over. That's my little neck. I'm cooking that too.
Okay.
Okay, and then you have your butterflied bird. Okay.
So do we remove any of the skin?
No, I don't remove the skin. I actually put seasoning underneath the skin.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And that's the first thing you do with your bird.
Okay.
Okay.
So also remembering that before you put the bird on the cutting board, you have to clean and sanitize that cutting board before and after dealing with that raw chicken.
Definitely. I sanitize mine with a Clorox wipe or Clorox solution.
Okay.
A little bit of water and Clorox.
Clorox, right.
And it does a beautiful job. And just keep everything separate and you should be okay.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Okay.
So what's next?
Okay, so your next thing is you're going to use some salt. I salt the whole bird. And then I put a little bit underneath the skin.
What if somebody is watching their salt intake and
Well, that's a teaspoon of salt. You can use, there's a lot of spices.
Like Mrs. Dash?
Yes.
There's a lot. Mrs. Dash, okay.
And there's a lot of spices in here, so it's not a teaspoon of salt, I'm sorry. It's a half a teaspoon of salt.
Half a teaspoon? Okay,
yes.
so that's not much.
And so you can use, like you said, the Mrs. Dash or no salt seasoning. And also there's a lot of seasoning in here, so decreasing the salt intake really wouldn't be that big of a difference.
Okay.
Okay. So then also you're going to take your black pepper and you're going to spread that over the bird. Now I know this sounds like it's going to be hot, but really and truly, with the sweetness from the yams and the sweet potatoes, you really don't get that big of.
So what is this?
This is cayenne.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Okay.
And I try and put as much under the skin also. I really don't worry about seasoning the bottom portion of the bird because with all the bird is going to be sitting on a whole lot of other things, and so therefore
You would absorb.
it'll kind of absorb,
it.
yeah,
Okay, very good.
everything else. Okay. Okay.
Looking good. Looking good.
So then we're putting in 1 teaspoon of garlic.
Garlic. Okay.
I love garlic. I think it enhances almost everything.
So this is garlic powder, not
This
garlic
is garlic.
salt.
No, this is
Okay.
garlic powder.
Okay.
The only salt that goes on that bird is that half a teaspoon
Okay.
that I put earlier. And you know, there's a little, usually on a bird, there's one side that usually has a slit in the breast. I put another slit on the other side so it can get that even seasoning also.
Also, okay, that's looking good. So now, there are individuals that don't like to handle raw meat. Would you recommend putting on gloves?
Oh yeah. You can put on gloves. It's really at your own discretion or your own tastes or liking. The next thing we're going to do, and then we're going to put this little guy to the side, and he's gonna wait and marinate for us.
Keep him in this. All right. So
Yeah.
You're gonna put him on the side.
Yes, you're gonna put him to the side, and then I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so when we put the chicken to the side, then we're going to take our yams and set up our yams, and the chicken is gonna go on top of our yams. Okay, so the chicken will be our little crown and glory.
Okay.
So after you wash your hands and you get all of that to the side, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put down some pats of butter.
Okay.
It's around
either margarine
butter
if you
or
want.
margarine,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And put down some pats of butter. I think I have there as a 1/4 cup or less of margarine.
Okay.
And because they're of butter, and because we're putting down the butter, we don't have to spray the pan.
Okay. That makes sense. That's right.
So then we're going to add our sweet potatoes. I chop them around 1 inch apart. You don't want to make them too thin because then they'll kind of disintegrate after a while. And it'll be a soup.
And we don't want a soup.
And we don't want a soup.
Okay. Very good point. Very good point.
Okay. And then that's our sweet potatoes. And here's our yams. Now you can make this dish. I think you could make this dish using like lamb.
Oh, okay.
Because the flavors I think would marry really nicely.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. The next thing you're going to put on top is your cinnamon. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm using I think I put a tablespoon of cinnamon.
There it goes. That's a Christmas spirit right there.
That's your Christmas spirit right there.
Cinnamon. Whoa.
And your cloves.
Cloves. Oh, okay. Sweet potato pie. Or yam pie.
Yeah. And your allspice. And then we're going to put oops, a tablespoon of ginger. I love ginger.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness, it.
So you grate the ginger?
Oh yes, grated ginger.
Okay.
Now you could use the ginger powder.
Nah, not the same effect. Not the same effect, yeah. Put the real thing in there.
And then we're going to put in half a cup of apricots. Sliced in half.
So you got your fruit, you got your starch,
Yeah.
you got your protein.
Yes.
Hello.
You got a little bit of everything in
Yes,
this
What
puppy here. And then we have some onions. I use white onions.
How can you do something without onions?
Yes.
Very good.
Brings out the flavor in everything. You're using half of a white onion.
Okay. Very nice, thinly sliced.
Thinly sliced,
Okay.
yeah. And so for those people that don't necessarily care for onions, the white onions has a mild type flavor to it.
Right.
And since they're thin, you know,
You're not gonna taste it.
it's not gonna bother
You
you
get the
that much.
nutrient from them,
Oh
but you're
yes,
not gonna taste it.
not at all.
Awesome, awesome.
All right, and then you're gonna pour in some orange juice.
Oh. Okay, I'm surprised every minute. Okay, orange juice now.
Orange juice at the bottom.
So this is gonna be kind of sweet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right.
So you've got the sweetness, and then you've got the cayenne, and it kind of balances out.
balances out, right,
Yes,
right,
it's a beautiful
right.
thing. Beautiful thing. And on the top,
It's your
you're
brown
putting
sugar.
in a quarter cup of brown sugar. Now this is not a recipe if you're on a diet. I'm sorry.
However, okay, let's come back. However, if you make this for the Christmas time, you know, you can get off of your diet during the Christmas time and enjoy yourself. And after Christmas, you go back on your diet.
There you go. And you know what? Some people don't like turkey.
So they do chicken again.
They can do the chicken.
Yes. So I got
And you got those Christmas flavors.
I know. So I got a sweet potato yam pie going on in the bottom here.
And so then we go
Even
and
the
we
chicken?
get George there.
And we bring the chicken back.
And we bring him back. And we put him right on top.
Wow. All right. Now, how long do we bake this? At what temperature?
You're baking it for an hour and a half
Okay.
at 375.
375. Okay.
At 375.
So now,
little
so you know, a lot of folks like to think that okay, if I look at the chicken, I can tell it is done.
No,
Uh-huh.
it's a whole chicken.
Okay.
So
how do I
we're
know?
going to be we use the thermometer.
Uh-huh.
And we stick it in the breast, not touching the bone.
That's right. And what temperature we're looking for?
We're looking for 160 to 165.
165 for 15 seconds. Very
For
good.
15 seconds,
Right.
that's right.
Correct.
So,
What is this now? Raisins?
raisins.
Oh, I'm outdone now.
Raisins. How can you have Christmas with no raisins? You know, I forgot to put the raisins. He's supposed to really be on top of the raisins. So we're just gonna lift him up
Lift
there.
him a little bit and put the raisins in
Put those
there.
raisins back there. He has to have it.
I would have never thought about raisins.
Raisins. And you know what? You really don't notice the raisins in there. You really don't. So for those of you that don't like raisins,
You can omit
it's
it,
all
right?
right.
You can omit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
but
omit it.
you really don't notice it in there.
There. All right. So there's
Okay.
a couple more ingredients left. That's it here.
You've got the last two ingredients is your red chili marmalade or apricot marmalade. This one is apricot marmalade, and you spread it on top, or you know you can put it in a microwave
Okay.
and just melt it and pour it over.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Isn't it though?
And you said someone gave you this recipe?
Yes,
And you
but
just modified it.
I modified it.
So what was your modifications?
Well, she used the apricot marmalade, and I prefer the red chili pepper
The red chili
marmalade.
pepper.
Yes. She didn't put, you know, as much ginger and the allspice, and you know,
So
you just have to
add more.
add a little more Isla. Just a little bit more Isla. And the last bit
More ginger.
is more ginger.
Oh, okay. So do you ever put the ginger underneath the skin?
Yes, I do.
You do too. Okay.
Yes,
All
I
right.
do. You know, I try to put a lot of the seasonings underneath the skin.
Okay.
And in that little crevice that I was telling you about.
Yes, yes. There you go. So some ginger in there too. All right. This is looking really good.
Yeah. Oh, I ran out of ginger.
Okay, that's it.
Just put that. There it is. That little crevice there.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So this is what the Isla's Yammy Chicken
Yammy
looks like.
Chicken looks like.
Don't that look good? Appetizing.
I'm just
Now,
gonna go wash my hands. Okay, so I just washed my hands, and now we're gonna put it in the oven. You wanna get that for me real quick? 375. Okay, so after around an hour, hour and 15 minutes, I baste it.
Okay.
And then you can gauge the thickness of the sauce that's in there.
Okay.
And then you let it cook for another 15 minutes. And then, when it's done,
So by now it's done.
yes, you have this.
Beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
is nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You have your sauce, your yams, everything's caramelized and browned. You don't put any covering on it. You let it sit so all the juices can get back in there.
Right.
And it's a meal.
Good.
Thank you.